Once was a land of woe and strife, where the people were bereft of hope. They prayed to their gods of might and light to deliver the heroes of old. Instead they got heroes. Did you hear the quotes in my voice of moral ambiguity? They may help or may not help you at all. Depends on what's in it for them. They kick and they punch and they maul and they smash. They lie and they scheme and they burn and they slash. Succeed or fail, it adds to the tale. Dungeons and Debacle starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. I am your host and dungeon master, Kevin. Going around the table, Shane.
That's me, playing Alexander the Bard/Wizard.
And Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake, and I'm playing the Eldritch Knight/Wizard, Juliet.
So, as you may have noticed, this episode is just going to be Alexander and Juliet breaking the number one rule of Dungeons & Dragons, which is do not split the party. We're recording this episode separately because it's going to be mostly between Juliet and Alexander and their adventures in education. So, where we found ourselves last time on the podcast is you guys made it to the Isle of Insight, went through like a little orientation of, what to expect at the tower. You're at the tower, and the Tiefling Dean that you have just met, Cirrus Jurin, has given this big speech about what you can expect at the tower, and basically how you're going to be an expert in all things, including in magic when you leave here. He, after this speech, motions you to go inside the doors of the tower. So you go inside, and the entryway is impressive. There's couches and chairs and huge fireplaces. The interior is this rich stained wood, and on the floors and the walls and the ceilings, you see about 20 people walking here and there around inside this place, and mostly they're going to the large elevator that's on this floor. So Jurin gathers you together and says, "This way, please, to the elevator." And you get to the elevator, and after a while, somebody had already gotten on it, and the doors open again. And the inside of this elevator is huge. There's a circular platform inside with a diameter of at least 30 feet. And he ushers each of you inside, and he says, to activate the elevator, you'll first need to say the floor, and then the password to enter that floor. As you're all first-year students, you will have limited access to the tower. You will have access to the novice classrooms and laboratories, and the first floor of the library. First, we will begin with the novice classroom floor. If the elevator is occupied by more than one person, you must state your intention to the other passengers. Passengers with higher privileges must allow the lower privileged riders to state their floor and password and wait until they disembark before calling a floor and password. Those who do not follow this protocol will be punished. Listen and take note. And then the tiefling says 10 cantrip, and the elevator begins to rise. After a few seconds, it stops and opens out into a long hallway that appears to be circular. Jurin says, "We're on floor 10. This is where you'll begin your studies. As you progress in your skills, you will also progress further up the tower until you reach the 20th level. We will teach you no further at that point, and your studies will be left up to you. All floors above the 10th and below the lobby are off limits to you. Infractions will result in severe punishment and possible expulsion." Do I make myself clear?
Yep.
And then the rest of the students respond, yes. And then he says, "Good. Make your way to the first door on the left and take a seat." So you all fall down to this room and go inside. The room's small and has desks for about 20 people. There's a red-haired woman, he's a human, in her later years at the front of the room who waits for you to take your seats. You can see she's taking measure of all the students that enter the classroom. You two give me a perception check.
Got it.
Yep. Good old 4.
You got a 4, I got a 5. All
Passive
those
10.
beautiful descriptions just wasted away. Whoosh.
Okay, so with a 4 and a 5, you don't really notice anything.
That's a 10, good sir.
I thought you rolled a 4.
Passive takes over regular.
Well, you still don't
if
miss.
it's-
You still don't see it. What's your passive, Juliet?
I think it's 10 as well.
So, as you all take your seats, the woman says, I'm Master Enchanter Harriet Klein. I'm your first-year magical theory and calligraphy teacher. Over the next 6 months, we'll be getting rid of all your wrong assumptions on how magic works and the proper techniques and basic components of casting spells, be it somatic, verbal, or material. I will teach you how to pronunciate, be it verbal or with your hands, and the proper way to use components. I will teach you how to tell marjoram from rosemary so you don't get cheated at your local herbalist or picking it in the wild. I'll also train your hand in writing and copy magical script. In front of each of you are the books we will be studying in your first year. There is Reynard's Magical Primer that will teach you about the theory of magic and somatic technique, as well as Tomac's Guide to Magical Handwriting, which will teach you about spell writing and scrolls. And last but certainly not least, your first year Insight spellbook that contains all the spells you will be learning for the next 3 years. I will give you only one warning. Do not try to use any of these spells if you don't understand them. If you don't understand them and try to cast them, it could be dangerous, and we will learn about it. I know it's difficult not to read on, but it is for your protection and a test of your discipline. The results can be extremely dangerous if you try to cast above your knowledge, and if someone gets hurt, or we find out you're casting something that you shouldn't, you will be punished and possibly expelled. So, you two give me a wisdom check.
Oh, I don't
Yep.
know. Hey.
Good old 11.
Or,
6.
or you can give me an intelligence check too if you'd like.
Oh, God.
I would like to, since it's 1 point higher than my wisdom.
Nice. Look at that.
16 and a
16 and
21.
21.
Alright, so for you just realized that for all intents and purposes, you now have a spell book that contains all known cantrips, first and second level spells. Yes, there are other spell books for other students on other levels or in the library that have all the spells as well for all the different levels.
Makes sense.
So you just got all the first, second, and third, and all the cantrips first and second level spells, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Well, here's the thing. Do we get to keep the spell book? That would be the ultimate question. Because writing that stuff down is going to be expensive, and, well, I'm sure they don't look very kindly upon stealing textbooks.
Well, she just said that it is your spell book.
See, but they say that with Apple iPhones and stuff, too.
Do you think this spell book has, like, after 3 years, it starts throttling itself?
No, it's just that they release new editions every couple of years so that the students have to keep buying new ones. You know,
Who was that?
I'm not actually here. This is out of character. God.
Get out of this one.
John is lurking in the channel listening. Couldn't help it. All right, so Klein says, the journey of 1,000 leagues begins with but a step. Shall we begin? She says rhetorically. She starts droning on and on and on about magical theory and where magic comes from, and then she starts, like, you know, writing on the board, like, these different hand motions and, you know, how to write magic, which is remarkably kind of like cursive. No one understands it. Shane and Juliet, give me a perception check.
Slow rollers, here we go. 9.
And
I thought
Alexander got a 14. Alexander, you feel like somebody's watching you. You turn around and see the older human teen looking at you. And he
How much older?
He's the attractive boy that was hitting on the drow.
Okay.
So he gives you like this like bro nod.
I guess I'd nod back.
Throughout like the next 6 hours as this woman's talking, you look over every now and then and you see him looking at you, and he gives you that bro nod again. So class wraps up for the day, and she lets you go. And as you get on the elevator to the lobby, and you were told you just had to say lobby because that's like everybody has access to that. You hear some of the other students talking about class, and some of them talking about how boring it was and how they already knew everything they were taught today. And as you exit the building, that older boy, Thomas Flynn, comes up to Alexander and says, "Hey, Finnel, that's your name, right?"
Yep. What do you want?
Well, how's it going?
Pretty good. Class boring. You?
I know, right? She just drone on and on and on. We know all this stuff. So, some of us were going to try to celebrate our first day at the tower tonight, and I got some silverweed, and was wondering if you could get us some wine or ale, and maybe even host us since you're in the inn and instead of the students' quarters. I'm the oldest, but I'm too young for them to sell to me here in the city. You can bring the dragon lady too. What do you say?
I think we're busy tonight. Maybe another time.
Oh, come on, man.
I ain't got the time, man.
All right, dude. Listen, we're friends, right?
Sure.
Okay, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to impress that dark elf, and I was hoping to get some drink to get her to come. She's how do you say, exotic. You know what they say about dark elves?
I don't.
Once you go drow, nothing else will you plow.
Damn.
Okay, so how about this? You give me... I'll hook you up with alcohol, but you gotta give me some sort of like money for me to get it. Sound good?
Oh yeah. I could definitely do that, man. Let me go back and can you hang out here for a second? I'm gonna go talk to my friends and try to get some money together.
Sure, man.
He kind of like does this fast walk over to some of the others that were like hanging off to the side that you came in on the boat with. You see him talking to them, and they kind of look excited, and you see them start giving Flynn money. And then about a minute later, he comes back, hands you a sack. There's 100 gold in here. I know that's probably a lot more than what it's worth, but get what you can carry. That'd be awesome. And then whatever's left, you can keep.
You got it.
Thanks a lot, man. It's really awesome. You're a good dude.
Yep. I go and start walking over to... Would I know where the alcohol place is? The local ABC store?
Yeah, I mean, you know that there's probably, like, you could probably go to the inn that you're staying at and get it, or any other inn. They would have, like, kegs of ale and bottles of wine and even bottles of spirits. So, yeah, there's no, like, fantasy red dot in the Isle of Insight.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go to the hotel and buy, like, 70 gold's worth of alcohol.
Whoa.
So, it's Chet working at the desk again. He says, 70 gold worth of alcohol. Is there anything in particular you would like?
Nothing particular. Give me what you think is good.
So he comes back and he has one bottle of wine and says, this is our finest vintage. It is a Hildel Halfling Red that is more than 50 years old. It comes from the Hildel region of Marilesh, as the name implies. It was pressed by the feet of adolescent halflings to reduce the pressure on the seeds and skins of the grapes. It results in less tannins, but also less wine, hence the price. It has hints of cherry, grass, and oak.
Okay. How much are the cheaper alcohols besides that one? I'm probably gonna get that one, but how much are the other ones?
He gives you a slight look, and you can tell that it's kind of distasteful for him to be discussing price and you asking for lower price products, and says, well, our cheapest bottle of wine is 5 gold pieces. That's our Ballard Farms Elderberry Hill. It's popular with our guests from the countrysides.
Can I get about 6 of those?
Why, certainly. What would you like to spend the other 40 gold pieces on?
Just make it 2 more bottles and then nothing else.
Okay, so you're getting 8 bottles of wine?
Yeah, 8 bottles and the vintage.
Those kids are going to be pissed, man.
What do they know? They don't know how much it's worth.
I don't know about that.
No, yeah, I mean they've been they know like what stuff's worth, man. That'd be like, even if you're 16 years old, you know, like a 22 of Bud Light's not $30.
That's true. So like,
You can get them some bottles of spirits or a keg or something like that.
Yeah. How much is a keg?
I am assuming you're looking for a budget choice as well on the L. Our cheapest is Conley Light. That would be 30 gold pieces.
Yeah, can I get 2 kegs?
Absolutely.
Sorry for making you run around.
So he comes out and he's got basically what would be considered like pony kegs to us.
Yeah.
He's got 2 of those. And says, would you like these delivered to your room?
No thanks. I'll just carry them with me. Thanks. I go on and hand him the gold.
Thank you. Will there be anything else?
No, sir. That's it. I'll go and tip him 5 gold.
Why, thank you. Just let us know if there's anything we can do to make your stay more pleasurable.
Yep. I go and walk away with the kegs to where the kids are.
Okay. Let's say by now it's, we'll say like 7 o'clock at night and it's starting to get dark. Are you just going to like walk in with these, or are you going to like try to stealth them in?
So where are we meeting? Did we ever, like, do I know where he's just chilling?
You know that they're in the students' quarters.
Okay. Can I just leave him in my room and then like bring one of the guys to go get him?
Yeah.
Because like,
so you're taking them to your room and then you're going down to the students' quarters to get them to come pick them up?
Yeah.
Let's say you walk down to the students' quarters and you ask around and you find Flynn's room. And
I knock.
So you knock on the door and Flynn opens the door and he's like, "Hey, Finnel, my man, did you get the stuff?"
I did. I need 1 or 2 of you guys to come get it.
Yeah, man, we can totally do that. Just thanks for hooking us up. We're going to be hanging out down at the docks tonight if you want to come hang out.
Sure. I'll go and bring them over then. Well, I'll probably come over after you guys come get the alcohol.
Oh, that'd be great, man. So we're just, we'll follow you back to the inn?
Yeah.
So we'll say that they go up there and you guys get to the inn and they're like, it's Flynn and the dwarven girl who was on the boat with you. And they pick up the kegs and Flynn says, "Man, I really, really appreciate this. You're doing me a solid. And that invitation's still open, man. We're going to be down by the docks for most of the night. You should really come and like hang out and be friendly and get to know everybody."
Yeah, I'll probably stop by.
That's great, man. And then he like sticks out like his fist.
I bump it with my fist.
He's like, yeah, man, yeah. All right, man, we'll be down by the docks. Come hang out.
Yep.
We're supposed to cast Shocking Grasp on him, dude.
What?
Instead of bro-fisting him, man, you cast Shocking Grasp.
I don't know about that one.
He can take 10 damage, he'll be fine.
I don't feel like he looked that kindly to it. Because, like, I feel like it actually hurt a lot.
I don't know, man. Think about this. He's probably like a first level wizard and teenager. I don't know that he'd have 10 hit points. might knock him unconscious or kill him. All right, so they leave, and you guys are back. I'm assuming, Juliet, you're back at the inn as well?
Yes.
So what are you guys doing now?
I go knock on Juliet's door.
Oh, yes. Hi. Can I help you with something?
Yeah, so I hooked up these kids with alcohol. They're having like a party down at the docks with all the first years. And I'm probably going to try and stop by and see if I can get some hookups in our grade to try and, I don't know, figure out ways to infiltrate the place. Well, mostly just to make friends, but never know whenever they're going to come handy.
Never know when there'll be tools for me to use. Hello, tool.
Well, I'd love to help you out there, but, well, I guess one night. Nothing wrong with that. Do you have a plan for getting out once you get down there?
What do you mean?
No idea what these kids are gonna do.
That's true, they are dumb. I'm probably not going to try and stay for the entire night.
Doesn't take the whole night.
I don't know, they make poor decisions.
You could always have Juliet text you around 9 o'clock to see if you need an out. Yeah, I've got a family emergency.
Well, invitation's open. I'm probably just going to go hop down there real quick. I go and start walking away.
Hold on.
Yeah?
You're not going out dressed like that, are you?
Now that you mention it. I guess I just switch into people clothes.
Yeah, no one needs to know that you're a mage because, well, it'll look poorly once they find who you are. And blow or cover, so don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I go and change and start walking over.
All right. So you are walking down to the docks, and Juliet, you're staying behind in the room?
Yes, Juliet is gonna take notes and start reading up on all this magic stuff, and then we'll just share the notes afterwards. And he can get all the friends, I'll get all the information. It'll be like clockwork.
You know, one thing that you haven't done either is look at all the maps and information that you were given to by Steph.
Oh, I thought we were just given the map.
No, you were given maps, you were given passwords, you were given maps for the interior of the tower.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, then that stuff is worth studying up on. Yeah,
So,
then that is what Juliet's going to focus on, because most of this first year stuff, this first day stuff, might be a little too simplistic.
yeah, there's some cantrips and first level spells that you're seeing that even though that you haven't cast them before, you look at them and you're like, oh yeah, well, you know, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're going to look at, you're going to pull out some of the stuff from the leather case that Steph, the Archmage, gave you back at Ares Goldsmith's mansion. And you're going to see a password list with like levels on it with all the passwords to get into each level. Because you realize that, you know, her being an Archmage, she would probably have access to all the levels and have all the passwords for those levels for the elevator in the tower. And as far as you can see on the map, it appears that the elevator is the only way to get like up and down the tower. You don't see anything like stairwells or anything like that. You're going to notice that your goal is on the 9th sub-level of the tower, and it's called the Citadel. You're going to see like the immediate floors above that appear to be like dungeons for like that are heavily warded. So you think these dungeons would be like where they take someone who's like a dangerous magical user, or, you know, some sort of like magical being, like a elemental or something like that, if they needed to like interrogate or like keep somebody on, and that fills up like sub-levels 6 through 8. Think Azkaban from Harry Potter. That's pretty much what this is. And then sub-level 5 is appears to be like a storage for like rare components. So like if you had something that was like, I don't know, air elemental tears or something like that, that's where they could be found. And then on sub-levels 1 through 4, they're going to be the magical bestiary, where they keep probably magical beasts for study. Floors 2 through 9 would be the floors below your classroom, and those are the magical libraries. Floors 10 through 20 are classrooms. Floors 21 through 30 are manufactories, gardens, and mundane components. So this would be like where they're creating magical items. 31 through 34 are administrative offices, and it appears that the rest of the floors are kind of like housing and mundane stuff like that, until you get to the 100th floor, which is the governmental offices, the tower governance, who rule this island, and you've even got access to that.
Wow. I'll have to talk with them about spell neutrality.
The mages of Suhel are complaining because the tower is throttling magic and spells take twice as long to cast, and Big Magic's paying school kids to write fake petitions to the tower saying magic should be throttled to spur new meta magic feats that'll improve spell casting. You've got that. You've got the passwords for all the levels. You even got information about the guards in the city, as far as like where their headquarters is, where they've got basically like precincts, and like what the beats are, patrol schedules, stuff like that.
Wow, nice.
So you're basically set up.
Perfect.
So I guess we'll say that you spend most of the night studying that, and then studying like the spell book and the primers that you were given.
Yeah.
So let's switch over to Shane. So Shane, you walk down to the docks district, and you see a group of probably 14 or 15 people. You notice everybody from the boat, and even the drow woman is here, and she appears to be drinking out of a bottle of wine. It looks like they had the same idea that you did, and they're all in, street clothes, albeit very fine robes, clothes. But yeah, they changed out of their school gear as well.
Okay. I just want to point out something. I've come to the realization that this situation is pretty much just 21 Jump Street mixed with Hogwarts.
Well, I mean, you're not guards. I mean, if you're a guard, you got to tell them.
What?
21 Jump Street, they were cops.
They were.
Which would make you, like, in this world, they would make you the guards.
But they were trying to infiltrate the school to get information and stuff.
I think it's more like what is Never Been Kissed. Drew Barrymore is like 30 years old and she's back in high school. Or Strangers with Candy.
Something.
But I digress. As you walk up to the docks, Flynn sees you and he's like, "Hey, Finnel, it's awesome you could make it, dude. You should come over here and grab you some ale." And then he takes a cup and holds it out and waves you over.
I go and grab it.
He goes over and they've got the keg tapped. And he's like, "Come on, man, get some."
I go and fill up my cup.
So after you fill up your cup, Flynn says, "Hey, can I get everybody's attention? Here's the man to thank for our celebration tonight. He's the one that helped us out and got us all this alcohol. This is Finnel, and he's a pretty righteous dude." Everybody starts clapping, and they all say, "Thanks, Finnel."
I do like an awkward wave.
Flynn goes, so how's it going, man? You settling on all right? How's the inn? Is it nice?
Yeah, it's a nice place. Just chilling around.
Cool, man. Cool. So, what do you think about school so far?
Easiest thing ever.
I know,
At least
right?
so far.
I know. So, have you met everybody?
Not quite.
So he says, come over here, I want to introduce you to somebody. And he walks you over to the drow that he's been trying to impress, and he's like, hey man, this is Tress. She's really cool, man. Have you guys met? And the drow's like, no, we have not. I'm Tress Dulrich. And you are Finnel, is that right?
You got it.
Thanks for the alcohol. It's not like I couldn't have gotten myself, but I've been trying to, I don't know, fit in more. It's kind of hard for us drow. You know, the racism and, well, our reputation.
Reasonable.
So what do you think of the tower so far?
It's pretty interesting. All the different levels having different usages. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't really know much about the tower other than it has a library in the classrooms, and I hear that they make magical items in here, but I don't know what floor that's on.
Yeah, me neither.
I would love to see it, though. I want to be an enchanter, and most of my studies will be focused on that.
Insert awkward silence.
You're like staring at your feet. She's like, maybe we could pull a prank sometime and maybe go up to one of the floors late at night and see what's in there.
Yeah,
We just have to find someone with the password.
I'm sure we could figure it out.
Excellent. I'll ask around myself. Just let me know if you find anything.
Same to you.
And about that time, a young male elf comes over. You remember he was in, he's also with a female dwarf that they were talking together on the boat. And he comes over and introduces himself and says, I'm Shandar Moonbeam, and this is Iridel Ironseeker. Thank you for getting the wine and ale. I'm young for a human, much less an elf. There's no way they would have sold to me here.
Yeah.
So what's your story?
Family, pretty prestigious. They didn't quite want me over there. They wanted me to be doing something better than just sitting around, not really advancing myself. So they taught me magic whenever I was young, and now they're sending me here to hopefully become an esteemed wizard.
Yes. I know how that is. I try to get out from underneath my family as soon as possible. I mean, I'm only 20 years old. I mean, I'm a baby for an elf. But I wanted to learn as soon as I can, to become as powerful as I can. And then the female dwarf pipes up and says, yeah, I kind of just wanted to get away from my family too. And I had some talent for this, so I thought, and they had all kinds of money, so I said, well, why not?
Yeah.
So she says, and who is your family? Where are you from? I might know them.
I'm so tired of all these complicated names, man.
You're Finnel Hatch. You're the eldest son of a wealthy merchant in Dormonth.
I expressed that.
She says, I don't really know anyone in Dormonth. That's kind of far away from Mountain Home. That's where I'm from. Hell, I'm basically on the other side of the world.
Crazy.
So she kind of senses things are awkward, and she says, well, have a good night. I think we're going to go over by the water and watch the sunset.
I go on and walk away.
You are the worst partier I've ever seen.
I don't know. I'm a very awkward person.
You're a bard. How are you an awkward person?
No, me as a person.
Oh, I gotcha.
Oh, it all makes sense now. So, the chubby male halfling that you saw on the boat comes up to you while you're talking to them and says, hey, earlier today when I saw you at the tower, you had a flute with you. Are you a musician, a bard?
Yeah, I was trained in music since I was young.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't suppose you brought it with you.
I did. I could play something if you want.
Oh, that would be awesome. Hey, everybody. Finnel's a bard, too, and he's going to play for us.
Is there like something to stand on?
Oh, yeah, there's boxes, like crates and stuff that are like empty, that are just like hanging out on the docks that haven't been disposed of yet.
Super. I'm just gonna jump on a box and just pull out my flute. Wait, well, I'm probably not carrying my bagpipes. I guess I'm pulling out my flute. And I'll roll my thing. Sick. So I get like what, a +2
Yeah.
or something.
So that's a 7.
I don't get no proficiency. Well, I do get proficiency, so it's +4. +2 from proficiency, +2 from the magical item.
So that's a total of 9?
I believe so.
Okay, so what kind of tune are you playing?
I don't know, probably something tempo-y.
All right, so you play the tune on your flute, and you get done. You know, they all start clapping. Give me a insight check.
Yeah. 21.
Okay, so with an insight of 21, have you ever been to like a coffee shop or like a bar that's got like an open mic night?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, somebody gets up there and, you know, they play something and it's like, it's passable, but it's like not great. You clap anyway because you're like, hey, you know, that's awesome. You know, you have the courage to get up there and put yourself out in front of all these people. So, you know, good for you, champ. It's that kind of clap.
Yeah.
You get done. Nobody's like, you know, requesting like anything else.
Yeah.
The 3 girls that you met earlier on the boat, they come up and they introduce, the oldest one introduces them and they say, I'm Betsy and this is Beatrix. She says about like the middle one, who would be the Jan, and then Bethany Sullivan. She would be the youngest, so she's the Cindy. She says, do you have any other talents? You know, the flute was good, but do you know any stories?
Yeah, I know a few. Can I roll like a check or something? History check or whatever.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, roll a performance check.
Okay. Or would I just intrinsically know from being a bard, a lore bard?
Yeah, you would. If you're a lore bard, you would know, like, I guess all kinds of stories.
Okay, I'll just express one of the ones that I would have on hand. Or just, like, pops into mind.
Okay, so you just start telling the story and give me a performance check.
21.
You, like, nail this. You're doing impressions and voices and sound effects, and, you know, you get done and everybody's clapping. This is much more enthusiastic. You can tell they really liked it.
Yep.
All right. People come up and, you know, all the people in your class come up and introduce themselves because they hadn't really talked to you or met you. The Mel Gnome, who was on the boat that was pestering the helmsman, comes up and introduces himself as Wesson Widgetsmith. You know, he starts talking your ear off about the tower and, you know, how he can't wait to progress in levels so I can see this and this and this and this in the tower. And he seems to know, like, everything there is to know about the tower. That he has studied it. You know, he's telling you all these stories about, you know, previous governments, the politics of the tower, you know, who's running the tower right now, you know, what's on all the levels and, you know, what they're for. You think this guy is like the go-to, like, resource, you know, for finding out anything that you want to know about the tower, and he is more than willing to talk about it. Actually, you probably can't get him to shut up.
Yeah, so I thought.
The night progresses on, and let's say you're down there for, you know, like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and people are, like, starting to get really drunk. Some of the smaller ones, like the gnome and the halfling, are, like, leaving. because it's just they can't drink anymore and it's getting late. So they head on back to the students' quarters. After about like 2 hours, the only people left are going to be like you, the drow, the dwarf, and Flynn. Flynn comes up to you and he's like, think I'm going to call it a night, man. I really can't thank you enough for like helping us out, man. You really did us a solid.
Yeah, man. If anybody asked where you got the alcohol, you didn't know me.
Oh, no way, man. I won't narc you out, man. But thanks so much, and I'm going to head on back. And then he yells over to the drow. He's like, Tress, I'm going to head on back to the to my room. You want to come? And she says, I'll be going back to the students' quarters, but I will not be coming to your room, Flynn. And he's like, oh, no, that's not what I'm getting at. I was just want to know, like, if you wanted to, like, you know, come by and maybe we could talk. And she's like, I know what that means, Flynn. And then she takes off, walking back towards the where the students' quarters was. You see Flynn tail after her. So it's like you and the dwarf. The dwarf is just, you could tell, like, she's trying to kill the one remaining keg that's left.
You can take what's left of the keg if you want.
She's like, yeah, but I can't get it back I can't take it back to the room.
You're right.
I gotta smuggle it in my belly.
I can just keep it with me until you want it or something. Like, I'm not much of a drinker.
And she belches. I got this. I got it. There's only like a quarter of it left.
I go and grab the keg and start walking back. I'm gonna take this.
She's like, what are you doing?
Go back to the room.
What are you doing?
I'm taking the alcohol away.
I got it, though.
I fill her cup and then start going away.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess you're right. Whew, I can't be too hungover tomorrow on my second day. All right. I'll see you tomorrow, Finnel.
Yep, see you.
You see her head back towards the students' quarters, and we'll say you make it back to the inn.
Yep.
So by now it is probably like 11:30, and as you're going in, you see Alunidas and Talia walking down the street before you go into the inn.
I see Talia and who?
Alunidas.
Are they just walking regularly?
Yeah, they don't appear to be running or, like, you know, doing the Skyrim stealth crouch or anything.
I go ahead and try and walk up to them.
They're probably a good 100 yards away from you. You'd probably have to run to catch up to them.
Okay, I'll just walk then.
Back to the inn?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're walking through the front door, and Chet's there, and you see him give like a knowing glance to you as you're carrying the keg with you through the entry.
He gave me a nod or just looked at me?
Like a nod and a knowing glance.
I nod back and just walk to my room.
All right, you're in your room.
I go and put away the keg and do like a tiny review of like what we went over the course of the day.
Juliet, give me a perception check.
Got it. 2.
You don't know nothing.
I never will.
All right, so is there anything else you want to do tonight?
I think I'm good.
Juliet?
I'm studying away. I guess finish the studies. Nope. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so you going to sleep for the night?
I am. Should I go into secret?
Yes, you should.
Let's do this again. 10.
With a 10, you are going to have the same dream that you had the night before, but you remember a little bit more about it. You remember that there's screaming and blood and a baby. You also remember this presence that seems like incredibly feral and hungry, that is somewhere in a room where you are that's like really dimly lit, and it's just like oppressive and filling this room, and it seems dark and evil. And then you hear a baby cry, and then stop crying abruptly.
Okay.
All right, we're back, guys.
Welcome back.
You wake up the next morning to, knocks on the door. It's your wake-up call. 30 minutes later, you hear a knock again, and it's your breakfast carts.
Just like clockwork. Perfect.
They do have a clock. You're very proud of it. It's like big doings, man.
That is pretty fancy.
I guess the next morning you're going back to the tower.
Yep.
Yep. Get everything sorted out. All our books together. All our clothes. We got this.
You go to the tower, and this time Jurin's not there to open the door for you, but as you approach the door, before you even reach out your hand to open it, it opens by itself. Give me a wisdom check.
Yep.
Do you want me to keep rolling low?
Yes.
God damn it. 13. That's okay.
Alexander had a 17. So, Alexander, you think probably the sigils that you were given are responsible for opening these doors? Because you have seen people go up to the doors and they actually have to knock, and then someone opens the door and greets them.
Okay. I go and express this to Juliet.
Interesting. I'll tell you about a little plan I might have with that information later.
You get into the elevator, and you use the method that you used before. There's nobody else in here with you, so you say 10 and the word cantrip, and you're taken to the classroom. It's the same person there before, Enchanter Klein, waits for you to take your seats, and she talks, and for probably the first half of the day, it's pretty much the same with your studies. You begin learning the proper way of using your hands and basic somatic forms and the magical alphabet. And you spend a lot of time practicing how to write. And the instruction goes fast, and Klein is quick to correct and reprimand people who don't get it right, but not in a mean way, but you can tell she doesn't suffer fools. And then she begins to start talking about the library, how it's divided into levels. And she says that, we're going to be visiting the library, the first floor of the library today, which you'll have access to in the beginning of your learnings. And then she starts talking about how the library works, and, saying on the first floor of the library, which is actually the second floor of the tower, she says that it's basically like history. That part of your study is going to be learning about, the history of basically the world of Suel. And then on third floor is current events, and by current, probably within the past 100 years is what they mean. Fourth floor is geography. Fifth floor is magical theory and history. Sixth is theology and religion. Seventh is beasts, mundane and magical. Eighth is technology. State-of-the-art technology in here is they would be learning how to use steam, which the gnomes have been using for just the past 10 years. It's a new discovery. And the ninth level of the library is where all the spell books are kept. So later that day, she takes you to the first floor of the library, the history section, and shows you where everything is. All the different sections. She teaches you how to use I guess would be their card catalog system. And then she says that you'll have the next 2 hours of the day to search around and get familiar with all the different parts of this level of the library. So basically, right now on the second floor, anything that you want to know about Suel, at this point, you've got access to it.
Perfect.
So is there anything that you want to look for in the library, or are you just going to browse around until it's time to go home?
I
Oh,
will
no.
browse.
Yeah, we're browsing. What you browsing for?
I don't know. I don't have anything particular that I'm trying to. I mean, does it have information on like the tower itself?
Yeah, you'd be able to find a book on the history of the tower.
Yeah, I'd like to look for that.
Okay. Give me an investigation check at the card catalog.
21 blackjack.
Yeah, you just you go right to the drawer and flip your finger through it and land right on it. So we'll say that you know where it is and you find it. And it's called The History of the Tower.
Crazy. I'm just gonna start reading.
All right. Anything in particular that you want to know?
Not really. Just glancing through it.
Okay, let's say that you spend the next 2 hours with this book, and you see a lot of the things that what's his name, Widgetwright, the gnome that was at the docks, was talking about. So you think he probably got a lot of information out of this book, or he had access to it.
Okay.
And Juliet, what do you want to do?
I thought you'd never ask. Juliet is going to try and find 2 kinds of books. I don't know if she's going to be able to study more than one, but the first one is going to be about how magic was discovered or used or whatnot beyond a basic sense. Like, oh, they wrote something down and it was magical. No. How did they figure out how to write the thing down in the first place? Was it learned by dragons? Did the gods descend and say, here, take Icarus's wings because he burned up on another planet? So, I don't know. That's the first set of stuff. And the second set of stuff I would be looking for is information on, I guess, mythology, especially concerning Ruin. Or Runaxis, I suppose, is the polite way in our group.
All right, so let's start with the second one first.
Sure.
So the second one, you find all kinds of source material on Ruinaxis. There must be probably at least 50 books that you can find that have to deal with certain aspects of, where she came from, why she was pissed off, why she started this war with humanity. There are, plenty of books from different historians that talk about basically what happened in the wake of her attacking the city or attacking that city. And those authors are talking about from the perspective of, what happened in a particular city or some different, aspect of, why she attacked that city. There's also plenty of books on, her minions, basically, that were working with her, and basically all the aberrant races and beasts, intelligent beasts that were working with her. There's all kinds of books on, the saviors and them banishing her to, the abyssal plane. And there's even books that are speculative treaties on, what they think is, happening or happened to Ruin, after she got on the plane based on, what all these wizards know about the abyssal plane. So the first book that you asked about where magic came from, you're seeing some stuff, but they seem kind of really basic, and they talk about some theories, but nothing specifically. Let's say that you go to one of the librarians and you're asking about it, and the woman working at the desk says, well, a lot of that wouldn't be in this section. That would probably be in religion and theology, which you're a first year, right?
Yes.
You don't have access to that yet, but if that's something that you're really interested in, maybe talk to your instructor and see if you can maybe get special access to it. It's more of a second year thing.
Oh, well, maybe that'll give me a step up in class. I'm always eager to learn. Thank you very much for the information.
Yes. Good luck to you. You're not going to have You've only got probably 2 hours in here, so if you're probably skimming through that, and it takes you like 30 minutes to figure out it doesn't have exactly what you're looking for. And then if you try to look at the ruin books, I mean, you're probably going to have to like pick like one specific topic and, maybe like flip through it.
Yeah, well, we have plenty of time to do research and stuff in the coming days.
All right. So, is there anything, let's say that you're done for the day and you could stick around, but class is over.
In terms of people who are in the class, trying to find who the most studious student is in the class, or at least from what I'm able to tell.
Give me I guess it'd be an insight check or a perception. I'll let you do either one.
All right, I'll head for insight. Hey, 20 total.
Okay, so from like the bits and pieces that you've like picked out in conversations and like looking around the room to see who's like most attentive and taking notes, you would think that the gnome Wesson Widgetsmith would probably be the like most studious in the class. Definitely the most like intellectually curious.
Perfect. Time to make buddy.
So you're going to go try to find him. He's in the library.
Oh, perfect. I'll try and find him as quietly as possible.
Doesn't take much. I mean, there's, probably, 20 people in this library, and half of you are you first years. And you go like looking through the stacks, and after about the fifth one that you are walking across, you look over, and Wesson is sitting cross-legged in the floor, and he has a stack of about 10 books, and he's like reading one right now and just like flipping through it.
I am going to see if I can approach and where I can see the spines of the books to see what exactly he's researching at the moment.
Okay, so it looks like, give me a investigation check. All right, so some of the writing on these are like too small to see from where you're standing. You're probably about 10 feet away. From what you can read on it, they seem to be like wildly varied. There's books on like world history. There's books on mythology. There's books on politics. There's books on governmental theory. There's books on engineering, but those are just what you can see. But he's got like 10 of them, and they're stacked up, and he's just like flipping through. And there's like 2 piles, so he's got like a pile of like 5 on one side of him, and a pile on 4, and you think like the 4 is the discard pile.
All right. Juliet is going to approach him from the side, so she's still visible, but not just walking in front of him, because that's kind of silly. And she's going to look over to him, and I guess even kneeling down, she's probably still taller than him, but she's going to wave a little bit and quietly say hello.
And he's going to say, "Whoa, you startled me. Hey, what's going on, Yorish?"
Well, I couldn't help but notice that you're the most frantic studier I've seen in the entire class, and it's quite impressive, honestly. I just wanted to get to know you. Maybe we could do some collaborative projects at some point.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds fun.
I noticed you have a wide variety of subjects here. Is there anything in particular you're studying right now?
Oh, no, just this and that. I was just browsing the stacks at random and, found this that caught my eye and that caught my eye. I'm interested in a lot of things.
Best way to learn. A little bit of everything.
How about you? What are you interested in?
I'm absolutely fascinated by all of these myths and theories surrounding magic, and particularly how it's been used by the greater powers, the deities and the vile monsters. I particularly enjoy the stories about Runaxis and her, maybe not demise, but certainly how they were able to seal her away.
Oh yeah, the saviors. Wow, they were great. I mean, they're probably the most powerful wizards that ever walked Suel.
I'd like to be like them one day, but for now we'll start here, right?
Wouldn't we all? But we got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly. Where can I find you, anyway? You probably live in the student dorms, right?
Oh yeah, you can find me. I'm over on the second floor with the first years. I'm the third room on the right. Why don't you come by sometime and we'll talk?
That sounds great. Let me know if you need any help in class, or if I need help, can I come to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. I'll leave you be, since I know you're studying and such, but we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, and if I don't see you tonight, if you don't stop by, then I guess I'll see you tomorrow in class. I think I'm going to wrap it up for the night and go get some dinner. I'll talk to you later. The gnome widget smith says goodbye to Yorish, and you guys are let out of class and you're free for the rest of the night. So probably that's a good place to stop it right there. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebacklespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor. After a long day in the fields or the mines, all you want to do is visit the tavern with your mates and relax. You need an ale that won't fill you up or empty your purse. Ask your barkeep for a Conley Light. It's made by Master Dwarven Brewers with the finest ingredients from the Plains Nation. It's a refreshing, crisp ale that will quench your thirst, and you can feel good about drinking tankard after tankard without that full feeling you get from other ales. So you can keep going all night. For better times at a better price, Conley Light. The music you heard on this episode was Metaphysics, For Origins, Water Prelude, The Teller of the Tales, Minstrel Guild, The Snow Queen, Ossuary 6, Air, and Village Consort by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. You can find that at creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.